Hey everybody, this video brings us out to Reading, Pennsylvania on this somewhat cold, gloomy, rainy, disgusting, foggy day, but kind of a fitting day to be out here because today's video brings us out to the Aulenbach Cemetery, a very old cemetery, I believe dating back to the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very beautiful cemetery with a lot of very old graves, but the reason why we're out here today on this kind of somewhat spooky day, if you will, is to actually find the grave of a little girl who supposedly haunts this cemetery. That is what we are out here to find today. So like I said, the weather is kind of fitting. The gloomy clouds and the fog rolling in from over the hills right there. It's kind of a fitting setting for today's story. The only issue is I have no idea where this actual grave is. I'm gonna have to do some research, try to find it, which hopefully I'll do somewhat quickly because again, it's raining. It's a little wet out today and I don't wanna be in the rain for too long, but the cemetery is rather large. It's rather sprawling, so wish me luck. But we are gonna find the grave, again, of a little girl who supposedly haunts this cemetery. So I looked up a few photos online as to where the actual grave was, and I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere down this road right here because I saw in the background of the photos, I saw the old carriage house here and the sign for the Mexican restaurant over there. So I believe somewhere down this path right here is where the actual grave is. Also saw in the background there was an evergreen that was kind of leaning. That one over there looks kind of leany-ish, so maybe that's where we're heading. Again, I have no idea. I'm just hoping we can find this somewhat quickly because, like I said, it is raining. You can probably tell by my glasses, I am getting very, very wet right now. The rain is picking up a little bit, but I'm determined to find this grave and get this video filmed because this is a very interesting story that I want to share with you guys. I love haunted history. When I found out about this grave and about the interesting story surrounding the grave, I knew I had to come out here and share this with you guys. Again, this cemetery is absolutely beautiful, but I'm kind of surprised by the upkeep, or maybe I should say lack of upkeep going on. It looks like maybe every now and then they come out here and they do some mowing because the grass has been definitely mowed, though not in a while, but weed whacking hasn't been done clearly in a very, very long time. All these graves have these weeds growing up around them, so kind of a shame to see the cemetery in this shape. Hopefully this is maybe just because it's still early in the summer. Maybe they're gonna come out here sometime in the next couple of weeks and really spruce the place up. I definitely hope it gets the love and care it deserves. These people deserve to have their graves properly maintained and the grass properly maintained. There's actually a lot of servicemen out here, a lot of Civil War veterans and whatnot, and I believe some Revolutionary War veterans, maybe possibly, who are also buried out here. There's a whole lot of these flags here with the markers on them. So lots of graves, lots of servicemen out here. So hopefully they do get the attention and TLC they deserve. And hopefully the grave we're gonna find today is also somewhat maintained. Again, if I can actually find the grave we're looking for. I love all these interesting headstones, like these ones here that are kind of in the shape of barrels. Just something about the more interesting and unique headstones I really, really enjoy. I think they're just very, very interesting. There's actually one over here. It looks like it's in the shape of a log, I believe. Look at that. I think this maybe symbolizes a child, if I'm not mistaken. I think lambs and logs, for some reason, represent children. Yeah, this is, for a child who died in 1917. So 1914 to 1917. Definitely sad. And I do believe there were there's a few more logs over here as well, possibly again also for children who passed away. But I do love the just look of these headstones. They're very, very interesting. Yeah, children of John D. and Martha J. Barth. Look at that. Elizabeth, Elise, and their infant son Harry. Look at that. 1885 to 1887, 1883 to 1885, and I'm guessing maybe probably died as a baby, maybe in childbirth, 1910. Very sad. I wonder what the story behind this is and why the Barth family had a hard time with their children. Maybe some birth defects or something within the family. I have no idea, but very sad. Maybe a a disease or something. That is terrible. I cannot imagine losing one child, let alone three. The idea of losing my son, of just losing a child in general, just sounds like the worst, most horrible, awful possible thing that could ever happen to anybody. But the idea of losing three of them, I honestly don't know how I would go on. That's nuts. All right, so again, the reason why we're out here today is to find the grave of a child, though not those children there. Unfortunately, a completely different child. But the good news is, I do believe I have actually located the grave. So if you're looking for this grave, right down there is the carriage house. Come walking down this road right here, and right before you get to the crossroads, look to your left, and you will definitely see this. It's a very interesting and unique headstone. So once you actually know what you're looking for, it does kind of stand out, though it doesn't sit very tall, so kind of hard to see from a distance. But again, once you actually know what you're looking for, when you get to this area, you should be able to find it somewhat easy. And this is it right here, the grave of Rosie E. Weiand. Look at this. Very interesting, very unique grave here. And it looks like one of the family members was actually a war veteran. But look at this. Look at the statue that sits upon it. And that statue right there is why we have a story today. So again, this is the grave of Rosie E. Weiand, born 1868 and died 1870. And again, on top of it sits this interesting looking statue. And as you can see, there is no head and no arm. And that is where the story begins. So supposedly the folklore goes, the old wise tale, the old urban legend, if you will, goes that some teenagers came out here and defaced this statue. They took off the head, they took off the arm, they put it into the trunk of their car, and they drove off, went down the road, and supposedly got into an accident that they did not survive. And when the cops were doing their investigation, they went into the trunk and they actually found the head and the arm of the statue in their car. And rumor has it, the reason why they did not make it very far, the reason why they only got a little bit down the road and crashed and died and got into a horrible car accident that ended their lives, is because they defaced this grave right here. And the spirit of Rosie came after them. That is pretty crazy. I don't know if it's just the fact that the wind is picking up and the rain's picking up and it's a little chilly out today, but just talking about that, it's kind of giving me chills. But with that being said, I wasn't actually able to find any definitive information or a definitive news story actually saying that this accident ever happened and that the head and the arm were found in the kid's trunk. I couldn't find any actual, again, definitive information on that. So it's probably just an old wise tale, an old urban legend, if you will. But a lot of times urban legends are built from some truth. So who knows, maybe possibly it is the truth. And rumor has it today that the spirit of Rosie does indeed haunt this cemetery. She walks around protecting the rest of what is left of her statue there. And if anybody comes out here and further defiles her statue, her spirit will haunt you, come after you. You're not gonna make it very far away from the cemetery. You're done for it if you mess with the grave of Rosie E. Weiand. I also find it very interesting about this grave site that right next to it is a birdhouse, and I don't really see any other birdhouses anywhere throughout this entire cemetery. I don't know if maybe there are some more here scattered throughout. I'm not entirely sure. And if there are, I don't know if these are maybe placed just randomly or maybe they were placed at certain graves on purpose, but I like to think that maybe whoever put this here, whether it was a stranger, maybe a family member, maybe the cemetery in and of itself, whoever put this here, I like to think that maybe they did it for Rosie, knowing that this small child who unfortunately passed away way too early, maybe they knew that she would like to watch the birdies fly in and out of their birdhouse. I like to think that if the spirit of Rosie does indeed haunt this cemetery, maybe she haunts this grave right here, I like to think of the idea of her maybe, popping out, sitting on her grave and just watching the birdies come and go. All right, guys, but with that, I do think this video is going to come to an end because the rain is starting to come down even harder. Again, you can probably tell by my glasses, and it's very cold, it's very windy, it's very gloomy, it's very disgusting. But like I said, kind of a fitting day for the topic that we are discussing today. The grave of a little girl who haunts this cemetery, whose spirit roams this cemetery, and who comes after anybody who dares defile her family's grave sites. So do not come out here, do not touch that statue, do not defile the grave of Rosie E. Weiand. That is pretty amazing, guys. Just want to come out here, document this, show this to you guys. If you've ever been out here to this grave or the cemetery, leave your comments down below. I want to hear about your adventures with Rosie here. If you've ever been out to see the grave of Rosie, definitely leave a comment down below. And if you have any other stories about Rosie, please also leave a comment down below, because one thing about urban legends are they kind of change between person to person. So maybe you heard some other stories. Maybe the story you heard is a little bit different. If it is, by all means, leave a comment down below and let me hear about your stories with Rosie or about Rosie. I want to hear all about this. I saw some pictures online, people talking about orbs floating around the grave site. Pretty interesting, but all right, guys. Again, the weather is garbage today, so I'm out of here. So as always, guys, thank you all so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check down below for links to Patreon. If you guys do become a patron, I will send you a postcard every single month from the road. Also check down below for a link to Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself retro rest stop t-shirts. Proceeds both from Spreadshirt and from Patreon do go to help supporting the show, keeping the show going. So I really do appreciate it. It brings us out to interesting places like Aulenbach Cemetery here in Reading, Pennsylvania, to see the grave of Rosie E. Weiand, who supposedly haunts this cemetery. Pretty awesome. So all right, guys, if you watch this video all the way to the very end, I'm going to say hashtag rest in peace, Rosie. If you watch the video all the way to the very end, hashtag rest in peace, Rosie. All right, guys, so that's going to do it. So like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you do hit that subscribe button or you are subscribed, then I will see you in tomorrow's video, where hopefully the weather is just a little bit better. All right, see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye.